This is Anton Watson, and you're listening to the Take 22 podcast, presented by the Spokesman-Review.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of the Take 22 podcast, presented by the Spokesman-Review with Anton Watson. I guess we got signed for a second 10-day contract, right, Anton?
Yeah, I guess so.
We're basically pro podcasters, or at least G League podcasters right now.
Yeah, made our debut last week.
You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks to everyone who tuned in for the first episode last week. Today we have a couple special guests coming on. Anton, do you want to tell them who's coming on today?
Yeah, the OG Deon Sr. and the little OG Deon Jr.
We're going to be joined by Deon Sr., Deon Jr. after the break, talk a little bit about Anton's upbringing, their athletic careers, both at the University of Idaho. We're recording this on Monday, so we're going to recap a couple of Gonzaga's recent games against San Francisco on Thursday, BYU on Saturday, as well as preview a couple of the upcoming games against LMU this Thursday, Pepperdine on Saturday. But first, we're going to talk a little Super Bowl. Did you watch the game yesterday? Where'd you watch? What did you think of the result, and especially the last 2 minutes there in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was a good game. I watched the first half with a couple buddies and teammates, and then I went over to my fam's house and watched the second half with them. But yeah, it was a good game. I wasn't really rooting for a particular team, but I just wanted to see a good game in the halftime show. That was fire, and I like both the quarterbacks.
What's the Super Bowl snack that you have to have every time? If there's one plate, one appetizer, one snack you have to have with you on Super Bowl Sunday?
Really, I'll probably say pizza. I think that's just a good snack to go to, our food just to eat while watching football. Yeah, especially on the Super Bowl, I think pizza is a good option for anyone, really.
Some Papa Murphy's pizza,
Maybe
perhaps?
Papa Murphy's, yeah.
Got to get the plug in for the NIL deal, right?
For real.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go back to the court here, talk about Gonzaga's games Thursday and Saturday. You guys had a little home sweep there of San Francisco and BYU beat the Dons 99-81 on Thursday, beat the Cougars 88-81 in a tight, kind of gutty game on Saturday. Starting with Thursday's game against USF, you had 15 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double, and 4 steals against USF. I want to talk about a few moments, personal moments for you in that game. You had a first-half dunk, roll into the hoop, get a pass from Drew Timme, dunk over Isaiah Hawthorne. Where does that dunk kind of rank in terms of the all-time Anton Watson dunks at Gonzaga Prep? And just take me through that sequence there.
Yeah, I would say that definitely ranks pretty high on one of my dunks, just because the energy after, like, the fans were going crazy. I started yelling. And Drew, he threw the perfect pass and just set me up for a good play. And I really didn't feel like I jumped that high, but I saw him getting ready and loading up to jump with me. And I was like, I just got to dunk this right now. And, yeah, it just worked out for me perfectly.
Does it count as a poster dunk when the defender's rolling back to the rim and is not already standing there? Would you consider that a poster dunk on Thursday, or does he have to already be there, feet set, to be a poster dunk?
I would say if you make contact in the air, it's pretty much a poster dunk. Like, we went body to body, so yeah, it happens though. I've been dunked on before, like, it happens, but yeah, that definitely gave me some energy and gave just the whole crowd a lot of energy.
We're going to call it a poster dunk for now, and if anyone disputes that, that's their problem. So another moment late in that game, I think you're probably going to know where I'm going with this, but you go to the free throw line, miss the first one, lane violation, miss the second one, another lane violation. I think that's maybe the first time I've seen consecutive lane violations in a game.
Yeah.
How much pressure is on that third free throw when you go back to the line, have to make it? And is it kind of the same as icing a kicker in football, where you have more time to think about it, so maybe there's more of a chance that something wrong happens?
Yeah, it was basically just finding my mindfulness. I already missed the first two. It's like, all right, like, I got those out the way. Like, they keep giving me chances. Like, I just gotta just focus, and I practice my free throws all the time. So I made the next two, which was good. But yeah, I definitely need to find a space where I can just focus on my free throws and sink them in the first time.
What's the key to kind of being in a free throw rut, getting out of it? Is it more free throws at practice? I know you guys already do that a ton. Is it spending even more time at practice, or do you try to get away from it and just kind of trust that you've been doing this for your whole life? They're going to go in eventually.
Yeah, I think practice always helps. I've been shooting a lot of free throws lately in practice, and in practice I go 90-80%. So I know I can make them. It's like making a layup, but yeah, I think it's just finding that piece at the free throw line and not really caring about anything else. Just kind of just getting the ball in the basket.
You guys honored Dan Dickow before the game. You win the game, and then after the game, some more good news for Gonzaga fans. St. Mary's loses down at LMU in overtime. Obviously, that helps you guys out with the conference standings. You guys are now just one game behind St. Mary's and still have a chance to play them up here in Spokane. Obviously, a few more things have to go right for you guys to win the regular season conference title. They're going to use net rankings if you guys have identical records at the end of the year, and you guys are able to beat them up here. But just what's that like getting that news? Obviously, you guys want to win the conference title, and so you're rooting for any team that plays St. Mary's going forward. How do you guys kind of take in that news, and then at the same time, do you also have to kind of treat it like it's just another result? We have to control what we can control because we're not the team playing St. Mary's every time.
Yeah, obviously, we're pretty excited because we know we have a chance to still win the league. But yeah, I think it's important for us just to focus on the game in front of us because we know how good this league is, and we know that any team is really capable of beating either us or St. Mary's. So yeah, I think it's just important for us to focus on ourselves and not really pay too much attention to that. But yeah, definitely it's hard not to pay attention to that. Yeah, we were pretty excited, I think.
You guys check the score on your phones? Do you hear about it through text, social media? How do you guys kind of keep track of scores like that?
I think we just heard it after the game. I thought they would go down and win against LMU, but anything can happen really. So I guess it's just worked out in our favor.
It's been a crazy year in the WCC, so any given night, I think we've seen that any team could beat any other team. So speaking about that, on Saturday, you guys had to rally back to beat BYU. I think down the stretch, that was probably the loudest I've heard the Kennel covering this team, maybe with the exception of the Texas game last year. That was a pretty crazy atmosphere. Where does that crowd noise rank in terms of games that you've played in? Obviously, you had a full season with no crowd noise at all, but the 3 seasons with full crowds, how does that environment compare?
Oh, it's amazing. Anytime we're in the Kennel playing a team like that, especially BYU, that we have that rivalry. We know they're going to bring the energy to the fans, and it was a close game, so everyone was on their feet at the end of the game. And once Julian hit a couple threes, got a couple stops, it was just like you could feel it. I had goosebumps with like 2 minutes left in the game because of like just how loud it was. But that just gives us energy, and at that point, I feel like we just knew we weren't going to lose the game.
You guys have trailed in the second half of 6 different games this year. That's opposed to one last year. You guys trailed against St. Mary's, and that's the game that you ended up losing. But just with the experience this team has playing in these close games where you have to rally back from 6 down on Saturday, I think double digits at BYU, San Francisco, and Santa Clara. Is there some confidence in knowing that you guys have been in the situation before, and it's easier to climb out of that hole when you guys know that you have done it 3 or 4 times already?
Yeah, it gives us a lot of confidence. I don't think we want to put ourselves in that position.
Of course.
For the past 3 years, it's been pretty easy. Like, been winning games by 20 in the WCC, but this year it's a lot different. The league's better, and our schedule at the beginning of the season was a lot harder than what it's been in the past. So, just to be able to come back in these games and stay focused the whole game and not get down on ourselves when we're losing by double digits, it's like, yeah, it brings us a lot of faith and confidence with this team, and we just keep continuing to get better.
Yeah, you guys are just trying to create memories, maybe, right? You're going to remember a game like Saturday's much more than a 30-point win against BYU last year, right?
Yeah,
that's all it is, I'm sure.
Yeah, you look at it from that point of view, yeah.
So the Zags are going to go down to LMU on Thursday, a quick little 2-game road trip. Your last road trip of conference play. Your next road games will be, I guess, games away from Spokane will be in the conference tournament, and then the NCAA tournament after that. You guys face LMU on Thursday down there in LA. That's one of two teams that's beaten you guys so far, and LMU has really kind of made a mess of the conference standings. They're only 7-6 in league play, but they've been the only team ever to beat Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU in a single season. So that's a pretty unique stat there. Really shows that they can kind of beat any team on a given night. What makes them so challenging, and what's kind of the level of awareness you guys have to have going down there after the game up here?
Yeah, they're a good team. They got a lot of experience with their point guard, Pepe, and then they got a big guy in the post, about 7 feet. So they got all the weapons, and they obviously want to beat us really bad. Yeah, when they came and beat us here, it hurt. So it's gonna be a good game. I know they want to beat us again, but we just got to bring whole focus and just lock in and take one game at a time, because it's gonna be a dogfight just like we had with BYU.
I think Cam Shelton's probably one of 2 or 3 guys in the conference who's easily a lock. Right, we know right now he's going to be a first-team All-Conference guy no matter what happens the rest of the way. I think there's a couple guys in the league that are there, including Drew Timme and maybe Aiden Mahaney of St. Mary's. What makes him such a tough challenge? And you kind of switch on to a lot of these guards. You primarily guard a lot of 3s, 4s, 5s. But when you switch on to a guy like Cam Shelton, what do you have to do to stop him from getting to the rack?
Yeah, once he gets the ball, it's kind of hard to stop him. He has a lot of experience, and he can do a little bit of everything, really. He can get to the cup. He hit a couple threes on us that were big, and he just kind of does a little bit of everything. He has a good engine. He plays the whole game. But I think the key for us is just getting the ball out of his hands as much as possible and making someone else make plays.
And then they also have another, I think 4th, 5th-year senior, and Kelly Lepepe, you mentioned his name. I think that guy could be a middle linebacker for a college football team. He's so stocky, so strong, but really experienced. What kind of makes him such a unique player and kind of a different challenge than you guys are used to?
Man, I've played him, I think, all 4 years. So, you know what you're gonna get with him. He's a hard player, good outside shot, and he can't be moved. Like, if you're trying to post him up, he's not moving. So yeah, I don't know if he played football when he was younger or rugby, but that's a big body for sure.
Maybe the best mullet in college basketball too, right?
Yeah, and he rocks a mullet, so he kind of has his own brand.
Yeah. So LMU on Thursday down there. Pepperdine and Malibu on Saturday. We're just going to go over Pepperdine really quickly. I know you guys are focused on LMU and haven't taken the full scout maybe at Pepperdine quite yet, but Pepperdine's a team that can also hang with pretty much anyone in the conference. They haven't won a lot of games, but they can score probably 90 to 100 points on almost any team in the conference. They have a few really good scorers, and a guy like Javon Porter goes off for 30 points on Thursday. They probably have 2 or 3 guys like that who are capable of erupting. What makes them challenging? And you guys handle them here in Spokane, but obviously that's going to give them more momentum and more reason to want to play you guys well in Malibu.
Yeah, they're a good team. Like you said, they got all the scores, all the athleticism. Maxwell Lewis, he's one of the toughest dudes I had to guard all year. And, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. They can score really good. I think we just got to get stops and rebound, and we'll be all right. But, yeah, that's a good team. They're just young, I think.
What's the best part of going down to LA, the LA San Diego area? Sometimes it's down at University of San Diego. In February when Spokane, it's usually 30 to 40 degrees. Sometimes it's snowing. You guys get about 4 or 5 days down there in the sun, and probably only going to be 60 degrees, but that's twice as good as Spokane in 30-degree weather.
Yeah, just enjoying the weather is like the best part, I think. Waking up and seeing the sun just creep in your room, it's amazing. And yeah, just being in Spokane so much, you kind of forget how other places are, and you're like, man, this is nice. Like,
could get used to this, right?
Yeah, like you feel ready to go for a game, you feel ready to go to practice. It's like waking up just feels a little bit different.
Sounds good. The Zags have 2 more this week, 2 more next week at home, and then 1 more against Chicago State before you guys go down to Vegas and play in the conference tournament. After the break, we're going to talk with your brother, your dad, the OG Deon Sr, the younger OG Deon Jr. Make sure to stay with us after the break. This is Take 22. All right, welcome back to the Take 22 podcast presented by the Spokesman-Review with Anton Watson. We're going to welcome on our first ever guest on this podcast. Anton, I'm going to let you make the introduction here.
Yeah, my pops, Deon Sr, and my big bro, Deon Jr.
So which one is the OG? Deon Sr. has to be the OG, right?
Yeah, that's the OG.
Deon Jr. doesn't get that title quite yet.
He don't got that yet.
Another 20 years or so.
Yeah, he getting there.
Before we get going, I've got a bone to pick with both of you guys. We've got 3 Vandals and 1 Zag here in this room together. Deon Jr. played football at the University of Idaho, was a receiver/tight end. Deon Sr. played basketball back in the day. It's obviously pretty hard to turn down a program like Gonzaga, but I just have to know, was there any effort to get Anton to try to play basketball at the U of I?
Really, we all try to talk about having our own path. Me being Deon Jr., I've always been compared to my dad. So there's a lot of things that I want to do differently, but ending up at Idaho, but playing a different sport worked out for me. My sister played at a different college, and so when it came to him, it was just natural to let him choose. But yeah, we were probably biased in wanting him to play a little at Idaho, but when you got a team like Gonzaga that's looking at you, it's tough to battle that. Yeah.
Idaho doesn't have the 25 straight years of NCAA tournament appearances to compete with Gonzaga, so I think you probably made the right call there, but one can only wonder what would have happened. Deon Sr., I wanted to go back a couple games ago. The Zags played against Pacific. Leonard Perry was your former teammate at Idaho. Sam Freeman, a junior forward at Pacific. His dad was a teammate of yours at Idaho.
Yes.
What has it been like to see your former teammates and former teammates' sons play against Anton? Does it make you feel old, or is it pretty cool?
It does make me feel old, but it's pretty crazy though. You know what I mean? Because them roots that Leonard and Sam and I had. We always talked about it as we got older, what our kids would do, and I never expected Leonard would be coaching against my son or Sam would be playing against my son. But it kind of reconnected all us again, so we were able to talk about it, and fortunately we won the game. So
Some bragging rights there.
Yeah, we have some bragging rights. Yeah.
Do you text Leonard after the game? Or...
Oh yeah, I texted him. He said, "We almost got y'all. We almost got y'all."
Yeah. What do you remember about that team? And that was the last Idaho team to make the big dance. What was so special about those groups?
I just remember, how close we were. A lot of us were from the South. Came up to Moscow, and all of us had the same goal as to play in the NCAA tournament. We had some hard practices, some hard winners. You know what I mean? So we were just like a family in the dorms there, and we partied a lot in Moscow, as you know. So, but for us basketball-wise, those guys are like my family.
How was the game different back then? And when you watch Anton now play for Gonzaga, how does college basketball look different than it did, 20, 30 years ago?
It looked different, a lot different now, because like someone's like Anton's size, he'll be strictly like mostly post play. But now, he plays outside, he plays inside. He can guard a guard, he can guard a post, offensively, he's outside the three-point line a lot. Whereas when I was in school, it was more like post-driven, more like, hey, get down on that block, you run outside the three-point line, coach look at you like, get back down there, So, the game has evolved, and it's more exciting now, and these guys are way more athletic than we were. We had a couple guys who were athletic, but now it's just every team has 3 or 4 guys that can jump out the gym and run, and, so it's changed that way.
Right. Anton, how do you think your dad would have held up in today's game? And then Deon, how do you think Anton would have fared in the 80s and 90s?
I would say he'd be a problem just because no one's trying to box him out that much, and I know he's going for every single board and just getting putbacks and stuff. So definitely be a lot of work, and I seen his outside shot, like he can knock down some threes. So today's game, I think he'd be all right.
He's kind of a stretch 4, stretch 5.
Yeah, he'd be a stretch 4.
Pop out.
I know.
Yeah. And then same question to you. You kind of touched on it there, but just seeing Anton back in the 80s, 90s, he's a physical guy who can kind of bang with the best of them. Do you think he would have held up all right?
Oh, yeah. He would have been a handful, because most of the guys I played against, it was like back to the basket, and I knew how to guard those guys because I was a jumper, but when you get a guy like Anton's size that face you up, and you're just like, man, what do you want me to do here, coach? You know what I mean? Because it's, for somebody his size, he can do so much, and then when I was playing in college, it was more like, he's going to go like a Zach Edey. He's going to turn left shoulder. He's going to turn right shoulder. He's not going to face you up, though. So he's not going to go to the three-point line either, So we didn't have to, our scouting reports were a lot smaller than what his scouting report looks like.
So what did it look like when you guys played one-on-one in the driveway back at home? Anton, how old were you when you finally got your dad in a one-on-one game?
I don't remember, but I think it was probably around middle school. He had some injuries though too, so I'll give him that. But yeah, I think around middle school.
Me or Deon?
You.
Oh, you probably you didn't get me in middle school.
What?
You probably got me more like I remember when you got married. Coach Sam Lockett and a bunch of us put a game together. I think Dominic DeCaro, all of us, like, hey, let's play these guys. And we went over and played like a bunch of the Gonzaga prep guys. And that's when I knew I couldn't guard him anymore. Because
Man, it was before that. I ain't gonna lie.
We're going to need to check the tape
Yeah,
here.
it was before that. Hey.
I can only speak for myself.
Yeah. It was definitely before that.
You might have caught me after work one day.
Yeah.
School, I don't know.
No, I'll give him that.
Same thing for you, Deon Jr. We kind of talked about that last week, and you kind of started to, I think you said maybe middle school, high school was when you started to take your brother. What's your recollection of that?
That's tough because we played so many games.
Yeah.
He may have got me in middle school, maybe once, but even today I'm still in pretty good shape, so I can go at it with him today and still maybe get 1 out of 3, 1 out of 5. But when you're playing every day like he is, it's kind of tough to get one. So he gets me now, but even when I was playing college football, I was in a very good shape, so I could run and jump. And as a high schooler, that's tough to compete with. But now he's the college player, so the tides have turned, and he's been consistently beating me. But he knows I won't lay down.
Yeah.
You guys didn't beat me in middle school, though, just for the record.
Nah, I don't know.
They both got me in high school. It wasn't in middle school.
We got some conflicting stories here, but that's only to be expected, right? I think me and my brother would probably have the same thing. I don't want to give away any scouting reports, but if you had to score a basket on Anton, what are you doing to get a bucket against him?
You're not scoring.
With his length, it's tough to get by him. He's pretty good at sliding his feet. So most likely it would probably be maybe just a rocker step, go to the right, pull-up jumper. If I can create enough space and get it off, then that would be my go-to. But he's really good at protecting the rim and closing out on jump shots. So you can't just be lazy. You got to come with a move.
In other words, a lucky shot. That's basically what he's saying.
What's the score, Anton, if you guys are lining it up right now, going to the driveway, to the park, playing to 15, let's say, 2s and 3s?
I'll give him 7 or 8.
That's pretty generous.
15.
Yeah.
Well, he can score a couple baskets, but I get in that mode where I just lock in. I gotta lock up, but he do be fouling me sometimes, so it might go into you might get 10 to 15 me, but.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did it ever get physical to the point where you and your wife had to intervene and say, hey, we need to take 5 here, or cancel the game completely, come back tomorrow because someone's going to break a jaw out here?
Nah, they'll eventually figure it out. Yeah.
There was no parents in the building.
Yeah. Do you guys have any recollection of one-on-one games that kind of stood out, or any memorable moments from the childhood playing one-on-one?
I would, the games that I remember most are honestly just out in front of the house.
Yeah.
We have had some where we've been in the basketball gym, but almost every day we were outside in front of the house hooping on our hoop. And those, were the times where we got into it a lot. And my mom and dad would always kind of have Anton tag along. And as an older brother, we got, 6-year difference or so. And so I wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do. It felt like he was always around. So he got picked on quite a bit, but he kept showing up, kept battling. I've had friends, box him, play basketball against him. So he took his
try to play basketball.
Yeah. But Anton's always been able to hang, and it's a testament to his toughness. I've always tried to drive him away a little bit. Feel bad about it now, but he's been able to hang with the best of them. So I think it's paid off in the long run.
You chose football, but you were a great basketball player at Coeur d'Alene High School. What kind of went into that choice, and was it a hard choice to split from one sport and kind of focus on another to play college football down in Moscow?
Yeah, it was tough. But ultimately, when you got an opportunity to have your school paid for, and you actually do love the game of football, it didn't make it that hard in terms of deciding on what direction I was going to go. I was fine either way. I did get some advice from not a Vandal, but a Boise State coach at the time, Chris Peterson, and he told me, 6'4" in basketball is okay, but 6'4" in football is amazing. So it just confirmed everything I believed in terms of having an opportunity to maximize my potential, and that was football at the time. So I was okay with that.
What's your guys' favorite moments of watching Deon Jr. on the football field? I can think of a few. I covered you at Idaho, but if you have any that kind of stick out moments from his career.
I think just going down to Boise, playing on that blue field down there. I can't remember what team. I think it was Colorado State we were playing.
Colorado State in the Potato Bowl.
Yeah, in the Potato Bowl. Yeah, and he really really played well. And they was looking for him. So I mean, it was exciting to watch, and it was a good time. The bowl. You get to a bowl game. He's played in some amazing places. He played at LSU, Florida State. I mean, did you play at Auburn?
Played at
Auburn, Ole Miss,
Yeah.
USC, and then to cap his career off with that Potato Bowl game. I just thought, really proud of him for that.
Coldest game in college football history. I'm pretty convinced it was
It was
cold.
cold.
I don't know for a fact, but I know that I was
layered up.
I was on the field before the game, and my phone was at about 50%, and it just died because it was so cold. It must have been 20, and players were slipping in the end zone and everywhere. That's what I remember from that game.
I would say my favorite was you had one of those catches. It was at home. I forgot who it was against, but it was like you were like falling and you just reached back one hand, and it was like kind of like an Odell moment. But I was like 7th grade, and you were on top 10, so I was going crazy. I was like, I never seen like anyone I knew on top 10 Sports Center. So yeah.
So to see your brother on there is pretty
to see
special.
Big bro on there was tough. It was cool.
How do you think Anton would have fared on the football field? I know he's got some pretty good hands on the court. He's thrown some full court passes, maybe some quarterback in him. Where do you think he would have lined up?
Oh, man. I mean, Anton's an athlete, so I already know he would have been great. Maybe more offense than defense. But in terms of just ball skills and being able to track down the ball, he's a great runner. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't know that. So I could see him at tight end, receiver, whatever. But really, just an athlete, could play baseball, basketball, football, it didn't matter. Whatever he was going to choose, he was going to put his full attention to and be good at.
Same question I asked you guys about Deon Jr., your guys' favorite moment of watching Anton the last 3.5 years, and maybe the best moment is still yet to come. We've got a few weeks left before the season ends, but if you guys had to pick one from the last 3 years, there's a pretty big list now.
Oh shoot! I mean, I'm hopeful there's going to be more. So I'm not going to settle on maybe one, but maybe one in particular would be the Kentucky game. I just feel like with that atmosphere being outside of the kennel and them allowing drinks, maybe that had something to do with it. It was just a great time to see him compete at a high level and really just enjoy the game. That's kind of the games that I love most, is when I see him smiling on the court, having fun. Those are the games I love to watch.
Yeah, and I think same with Deon. It's been so many moments. It's hard to pick one. I would have to say probably when they went down to Alabama and played Alabama down there. My father got a chance to see Anton play live for the first time since high school. So he hadn't been to a Gonzaga game before, and I told him, I said, he's going to play well for you, And I don't think Grandpa didn't sit down the whole game. I was taking pictures and videos and sending them to me, So he was excited, and Anton played well. And at the end of the game, he got a dunk, and he was yelling, "That's my grandson."
Oh, man. He was
yeah, so, yeah,
think your dunk in that game kind of sealed the game. I think maybe put you guys up by 10 points with about a minute and a half left down there, and that was it. That was that was billed as a neutral site game.
Yeah.
That was a road game.
It was not
down in Birmingham.
Yeah.
That was as lively as the game against Texas. It was. I saw maybe 2 or 3 Gonzaga fans in the crowd.
Yeah.
A few more than that, but you guys had it coming from all directions. What was that like for you to have your grandpa come and watch you play in that game and see him in the stands and have a chance to catch up afterward?
Oh, it was awesome. Grandpa Don, all his grandkids love him. He shows us so much love, texting us all the time. Yeah. And just for him to come to a game was special for me. And no one else from my family came to that game, so it was just him. And I was happy he enjoyed the moment. And I played good that game, so I was happy for him.
Yeah.
One of the few Zag fans in that building.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was a couple parents, and that was about it.
Yeah.
A lot of Alabama fans. Talked about this a little before we started recording, but just the presence of NIL in today's college atmosphere. You guys weren't around for NIL. You were closer to it than you were, but what are your thoughts on just this development within college athletics, and how much would both of you have enjoyed NIL back in your day?
I would have loved it, because you work so hard, and you put in so much time in. You really don't have time to work a regular job, and I think for us, like, financially help these guys get more financially prepared for when they're done with basketball, when they're done with college, because when they get done with college, then they go into this world where they have to manage their own money and deal with agents and deal with different people, where if you get that experience in college, was a little bit more organized. You got people around you helping you. I just think I think it's good for college basketball. I think it's good for the athletes. Because these guys, they work hard, and the schools make a lot of money off of athletics also. So, it's only fair, I think.
Yeah, I think pretty much the same thing in terms of just allowing some players to have more of a voice, more control over who they are and how they're portrayed in the media. Obviously the pendulum can swing either way in terms of, are some players not playing as well because of NIL. But I think most of them, over 95% of them, deserve it, and rightfully so. So it's like, in my opinion, I wish I had it. I think they had a little payout with the video games for NCAA that I did not take advantage of. I didn't believe it. So the fact that these guys are getting paid is unbelievable. And like my dad said, man, it's like, in terms of setting them up for long term, they're able to manage their money and learn how to do it at an earlier age. So why not? Why not give them that opportunity?
If there was one NIL deal that you guys could have had in your day, if you could choose one company, one organization to partner with, what would it be?
Oh man, that's tough, man. That's tough. Yeah. Moscow, you and I probably Corner Club.
Corner Club's not a bad choice.
Yeah. No, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know.
It would be tough. It would be on a national level. It might be a little different. Obviously, you want the Nike.
Let's go regional. Maybe somewhere in Moscow, in the Northwest. Keep it local.
Man, I would have to go Gambino's probably.
Some pizza.
If they throw in some wings every time I come in, I wouldn't. Listen, you don't even gotta pay me. Just give me some wings every time I come in the spot. I'm good.
All right, Anton, I'll let you take it away. Anything you want to ask your brother and dad here?
I would say, if y'all didn't go to U of I, what college would y'all want to go to?
Well, I was a big LSU fan. I loved LSU. I used to watch their football all the time, and then I loved when Shaq was there with Chris Jackson. Then he changed his name to Mahmoud Rauf, I think. But Chris Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal, I love watching those guys play in college. They had a great team. Never won a championship, but they had such good teams. And the football on Saturday, I used to wake up every morning and watch LSU football. So I would have loved to go down and play in that atmosphere.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. In terms of LSU, this guy, he put me on the LSU football early, and then you look at, some of the products that they had, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Mango at DN. They had a lot of great guys that came out right before I was just getting into college. So LSU for sure, and that Death Valley, it's the only game that I've ever seen packed out in terms of playing against a team like Idaho. So they show up. They show up no matter who the opponent is, and I couldn't imagine being in an atmosphere like that. And the food too.
Yeah,
The food was good also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the food was good.
You guys have anything for Anton before we let him go here?
What's something that you look forward to improving on during the season?
During
Even
the
right
season?
now. Yeah, because a lot of times players get boxed in terms of what they can do.
Yeah.
What's something that you think that you can improve on still?
Definitely free throws, but
Okay.
other than that, it's just being more aggressive on offense. Like, I feel like I can score 20 a game. Like, just being aggressive, and I just keep working on that end. Defense kind of just comes natural, but the offense is kind of, I feel it clicking. So
Okay.
I think just working on that.
So are we gonna get a 20 and 10 out of you?
We need it. We need it soon.
I just was curious.
Yeah.
Only question I would have is like how do you deal with the pressure of playing at Gonzaga? We played at Idaho. Well, I wasn't on TV that much. You was on TV more than me, but I didn't have the pressures of like the whole world watching, and now we got so much social media. How you get away from that aspect and just relax and be Anton. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people know Anton the basketball player, but they don't know Anton, the gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how you do to get away from that?
I would just say just relaxing and like putting my phone down or something, not focusing on what other people think. But I don't really feel too much pressure because it's mostly support out here. Anytime I go to the store, anytime I get some food, it's everyone's showing love. So that's really all I need. If people are talking bad, it's like I don't really focus on it too much. Or if I had a bad game, it's like I'll just go hang with my teammates or hang with my family and get me in a better mood. But yeah, the pressure doesn't really get to me that much in that sense.
Get a Pop Murphy pizza.
Yeah, for real. Like that's all I need, and I'll be all right.
Had to get a little plug in there before the segment.
Get some good food.
Hey, we survived on the Papa Murphy's.
Not too bad. All right. Well, thank you to the OG, Deon Sr., the other OG, the younger OG, Deon Jr. Thank you guys for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. We're going to take a little break and then come back with our catch and shoot segment with Deon Jr. He's going to stay on. We're going to do a little sibling challenge when we come back. All right, welcome back to the Take 22 podcast with Anton Watson, presented by the Spokesman-Review. This is our catch and shoot segment to close out the podcast. We still have Deon Jr. with us. We're going to do a little sibling challenge here. It's kind of been a trendy thing on TikTok, so we're going to take it to the podcast and see how you guys do and see what you guys think of each other. So I have 16 questions here lined up, and if you guys both want to answer around the same time, and then you can give explanations or not, we'll just move on to the next question. So we're going to start out here. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Number one, who is the favorite child?
Anton.
I ain't even gonna lie.
He's
Yeah,
the baby.
I was the
He's
youngest.
Who does better in school?
Anton. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I started off strong.
Yeah, I'll say the same. Yeah, that's questionable.
Who was more popular?
I say me.
Yeah,
He's more popular now.
yeah, I'm more popular because of basketball, but
Back in the day.
Deon was a social guy.
More social.
Brought his friends over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me now.
Who takes longer to get ready?
Maybe.
Haley, our sister.
Oh,
yeah.
Haley isn't here to defend herself.
I know. Yeah.
She kinda,
Sorry
It
about that,
takes us
Haley.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, she kind of straight up. But yeah, probably Haley. But out of us two, it's debatable. We're both probably late.
Yeah.
Who watches the most TV?
I would say me.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, I got a son, so I don't
Yeah.
have time. I watch cartoons. And that's all the TV
Coco
I
Melon.
Who asks mom and dad for money more often? Maybe neither now, but maybe back in the day. Let's go high school.
Him. I'd say him.
What? What?
I'm gonna throw. He's the baby.
Yeah.
So he's the youngest. Of course, he's gonna ask and get away with it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Who's the most annoying?
Deon.
Probably me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
No question.
Yeah, I'm the person that walks in the house and just starts yelling. And
Yeah.
people just, I'm not even gonna lie.
It's probably going to be the same answer for this one then. Who talks more?
Yeah.
Me.
Definitely Deon.
Yeah. Out of the whole family too.
Yeah.
All right, this is my favorite one. Who's the best athlete?
Ooh. You already know the answer to that one.
Overall athlete.
Oh, I mean,
Overall, yeah. I'll say baseball, I got you.
Yeah,
Basketball,
I'll give you.
you got track,
I'll
you got
give you
football.
that one. I'll give you that one. I was pretty good at high jump. I was decent at baseball,
Yeah.
but I'm never gonna count myself out.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You got to pick
I'll
yourself,
give it to
right?
you.
Yeah.
I'll give
We're
it
just going to go with Haley. All right.
Haley.
Yeah.
We'll show Haley some love.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to blow all their money on an impulse buy?
Oh man,
Oh, this man, for
Me,
sure.
for sure.
Same.
If I see a pair of shoes, man,
Yeah.
the bank account's getting empty.
Yeah.
I'll find
Just shoes? Anything else that you're going to just blow your
It is
account
mostly
on?
shoes.
Really like shoes, maybe a shirt, drips.
I'll buy like an Xbox or something and like spend my money on that. But this man buying shoes.
I mean, I got a couple impulse buys.
Yeah.
But I always hustle and get my money back. So.
Yeah.
Who usually wins in an argument?
Oh, me, easy. It's
Probably
also
him,
much-
cause I'm gonna just get annoyed and just be like, all right, you can have it. But
yeah, Anton's not much of an arguer.
Yeah.
I typically am the one that ruffles feathers in the family.
yeah.
What about a sports argument? If you guys have a hot take that you weren't agreeing on?
If it's about sports, I might win that, cause
We got some similar takes.
yeah,
We got some similar takes, but I'm always say me.
yeah.
Come
I don't know. In that area, like I feel like I got it. I'll win any argument about sports.
Any opposing takes that you guys have butted heads on? LeBron, MJ, anything like that?
I feel like there's some recent ones. We usually argue about some like football or something. Cowboys. He's a Cowboys fan, so
Yeah.
anytime they lose, I gotta text them or talk some smack to them.
I mean, I'm just weathering the storm with them right now.
Yeah.
That's one that I really don't have a lot of ammunition on.
Yeah. Every Cowboys fan is like, this is our year. This is our year. And I'm right there to say, no, it's not. Right when they lose.
Everyone's got to have some haters.
Got to have hope before the start of a football season, right?
Yeah,
It's the
I
only thing that
guess.
gets you through
I
it.
guess.
Yeah. Who's more sensitive?
I don't know
We're
though.
not really sensitive, but
Yeah.
I'd probably say I'm probably more out there in terms of expressing my emotions.
Yeah.
That might be the football player in me, but Anton's pretty calm and collected. Sometimes I can.
Yeah, there's only a few people that can get under my skin, and Deon is definitely one of them.
I'm one.
No question.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to get a speeding ticket?
Ooh.
I would say you. Have you got one?
Me, I got one way back, but
Yeah.
you've been close. He might talk
Yeah.
himself out of it. He might get.
I've never been really pulled over. I got in a crash, but yeah, let's knock on wood.
Knock on wood,
But
yeah.
yeah, I never got a speeding ticket, so
Yeah, I've got.
Who's going to win a 40-yard dash? And we're going to say at your peak. So you right now, you at the peak of your college football career, who wins a 40-yard dash?
I'd probably say me.
you might have that just because
Yeah.
it's football. Y'all practice that.
It's more of a football
We
drill.
we be running on courts.
Yeah.
We got that.
The 10 to 20
Long
yard
distance.
split will be a little bit closer, but I think
Yeah.
40 I might get them. Yeah.
Who's got the better taste in music?
Oh man, me. He gets all his taste from me.
What?
So
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I do take a lot of music from him.
he's got his own style though.
Yeah,
But
we
growing up-
basically listen to the same music.
yeah growing up he was all on my playlist. So
Yeah.
the origin is from me, but now he's got his own style. We got a couple differences in taste, but
Yeah.
Better taste in fashion, style, footwear, all the above.
I'd probably say me.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of my clothes too.
Yeah.
He'll tell me like, "Hey, look at this shirt. Look at these shoes." I'll be like, "All right, I like
Yeah.
those."
Yeah,
But
you know.
yeah, it's probably him.
Trying to up his off the court.
Yeah.
He's more frugal with his money, like he said. I'm more willing to splurge on something. So If it looks good on me, though, shoot, it'll probably look good on him, too. So he technically, whatever I get, he's going to get, too.
Yeah.
And then lastly, who complains the most?
We don't really complain too often.
Yeah.
But if I had to, I would probably be me.
Yeah.
I would be me.
Yeah. I do complain quite a bit. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's natural.
Yeah. It's never about sports or just what's going on in our life. It's typically about just family.
Yeah, just
that's what we
little
complain
things.
about. Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our catch and shoot segment with the sibling challenge this time with Deon Jr. and Anton. That's also going to do it for episode 2 of the Take 22 podcast. Be sure to listen on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're going to be coming back to you guys next week, a couple of Gonzaga games in Southern California. We're going to recap those next week, and make sure to follow us and listen next week.